Today, we'll be doing a subscriber request. The topic that came in is what to do if you're 40 years old with no kids, no partner, and you're Asian. Obviously, this is not specifically towards Asian men, but I thought it was hilarious that that was included. So I will address it properly and give my 2 cents. First thing I would say is if you are truly content and not bitter with your life at 40 with no significant other and no kids, and this is something of your own choosing, there's nothing wrong about it. Fuck the haters, focus on yourself and keep building. It's a completely different story if you've always wanted a partner and wanted kids and wanted intimacy, but you failed to embrace rejection. You failed to learn social dynamics. You failed to learn intimacy. You failed to learn flirting. This is something that you caused and you have to take ownership of and realize it will not get better. You spent 40 years of your life just trying and you allowed fear to hold you back and the consequences of it. And yeah, if you've never tried to approach women and learn flirting and intimacy, as there is a steep learning curve to learn how to do that, then of course you're single. Of course you're single without kids. And if you aren't happy, that means that you have to take ownership now. And while I do want to say that at 40 is everything hopeless, no. Just getting into a relationship and trying to build something is significantly harder. The dating pool does significantly shrink. Why is that? Well, people are coming out of divorces, relationships, they have kids. There's just a lot more responsibility added to this. It's a lot harder to have freedom and build the relationship you want versus if you met someone when you're younger. You're young, you're free, you don't have responsibilities, and you learn to grow together and you take on and add on responsibilities as you get older, i.e. marriage, having kids, right? And I feel like when you're significantly older, sometimes you get a little jaded, right? You've been through relationships over and over. You've been heartbroken. You've been screwed over just a lot more times versus having a steady flow of healthy relationships, right? Or being in monogamy, having one relationship that was just healthy over a very long time versus a series of partners. And I understand you have to live, learn, and fail. And sometimes you go really, really bad, right? It's like some things just don't go right. And that's completely okay. Like failing and getting rejected is a part of the process. But the difficulty is now, how are you going to learn? And if you're being ostracized by your peers or coworkers that you are single with no kids and it's kind of odd, maybe there's some validity to it. Maybe there's some actual truth in it because the fact that this comment is bothering you, it's showing that you're insecure about it and maybe there's some truth to it. You believe in it, right? Versus if you were truly content and happy and someone's making fun of you for being single and having kids, you would have brushed it off and be like, no, this is what I want. I like being single. I like enjoying my life. I enjoy not being tied down by a partner. And yeah, I don't want kids. Wouldn't that comment not bother you if you're truly happy? You just go tell that person to fuck off or just shrug it off and it wouldn't be a big deal. But the fact that you're coming to me, first of all, I want to say thank you for being vulnerable. It's a difficult thing because now you have to learn something that people learned a lot earlier. People who are younger and learn the skill set has a significant advantage over you because they developed the skill set at such an early age and they might have 20, 30 years of experience on top of you, right? So now you have to take this on at the age of 40 and you do have to learn everything that you should have learned when you were younger. It's not too late. It just makes everything a lot more difficult. And this requires a lot more effort because when you are 40, you have ingrained patterns and habits that have been cemented in your psyche. Because you've been on this earth a lot longer. You've learned to live in mediocrity. You've learned to just live in complacency for that much longer. Versus if you're young, 14, 15, even 20, everything's still new. You're not so ingrained in your old habits. You're willing to change and learn some things. I think it's the beauty of youth is you kind of reject social norms, conformity, and traditions, and you kind of just discover yourself, right? But when you're 40, you're still discovering yourself, but you have a more cemented idea of who you are and who you want to be. So I'd say, yeah, hope's not all lost, but realize there's a lot of significant disadvantages. It's a lot harder stacked up against you. And if you're okay with that, you'll be wildly successful. So what would I say to you if you're 40 with no kids, single, and you want a significant other? Number one is acknowledge that this is truly what you want. Okay, stop running away from it and you have to face that. This is truly what I want. And what my coworkers and peers think about me is actually true. I failed to get what I want. I'm the consequences of delaying what I want in my life, right? You allowed your fear to really hold you back. And you have to embrace it and be like, yeah, I kind of allowed myself to not get the life I want because I've feared failure. I never learned it. It was too difficult. But now you have to realize like it's going to be hard and I'm going to take this journey seriously. So I would highly suggest first, go to therapy, right? Figure this out. Work on the fear stuff, right? Work with a trained clinical psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever it is, specifically to your needs, right? Work on that. And if you want to book a call with me, I can also help you out with that. Number two, let's say start getting in the gym. You have to start feeling confident about yourself. Learn to embrace pain. I feel like the gym is beautiful in this aspect because you are working, training, breaking, and building back muscle, which is a very painful process if you're just new, right? You have to be kind of crazy to keep going back in the gym because it's quite painful for the first 2 months, right? First of all, you're out of shape probably. So start hitting the gym, start feeling confident about yourself. And that confidence and that adversity to pain and resilience towards it, actually, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to force you to get better. Okay. By hitting the gym, you feel confident. You got to change your wardrobe, right? Get your wardrobe, start getting clothes that fit you better. And I think that's a beautiful thing. By getting clothes that fit you, you're going to feel great. You're going to be able to express your personality, find your cliche, find your group, find whatever you want, right? And then the next step is the hardest, is actually taking action towards what you want. And if that's intimacy, it means you have to approach. So now you have to learn to fail forward. You have to learn to get rejected because your social dynamics and social cues and social awareness is completely out of whack because you're probably not picking it up properly. So you have to get repetition, and realize it's going to be awkward. It's going to be odd for quite a long time. And once you're able to complete that, then you're going to get better. And realize this is going to be a year-long, multiple-year process. What happens is you should start reconnecting with masculinity. Find some good friends to hold you accountable. So that means you have to start developing hobbies. I feel like your friends actually determine who you are and who you hang out with, right? Social status is quite important. Your friends are a representation of what you believe and who you are and how the world values you. By developing a core group of strong guys, you have friends. And that means you need to start developing hobbies, start getting out of your house. Escape the online platform, escape the online world, and start doing stuff that's in real life. Connect yourself with real life and realize that every crutch you had of just going home, playing video games, drinking, whatever, just stop that. Face your fears, go into the world, and it's going to be wild and uncomfortable. But you have to understand this. If you truly never had shame and guilt, because you're going to feel these emotions quite prevalent during your process. If you ask yourself if you're able to turn off that button inside, what would you do differently? Would this actually matter? I feel like failing is okay, but it's that shame and guilt that we present upon ourselves that's the worst part. Failing itself's not hard. It's the shame and guilt we feel. We're like, damn, I can't believe I fucked up. I messed up. I'm such a failure. This sucks. Of course I suck. I'm dumb, right? All this negativity, right? But if you're able to mute that button, life be a little different. Totally. So learn how to slowly start managing that muscle and just be like, no, I'm just not going to feel shame or guilt. And you're going to feel it, right? But try to minimize that and apply positivity. And most of the times, if you're saying like, oh, you're awesome, man, good luck. If you don't believe it, it's actually not going to work because it's going to be cheesy. It might start out cheesy, but over time, like you're going to learn to love yourself and find comfort in your achievements and failures, right? And you're like, wow, I'm one strong guy. I'm going to keep going forward. And what happens is you're getting more confident. You're approaching, learning social dynamics, having a dating coach, and going to therapy. Let me know if you need help. You're going to be in a better position. And it shows you that anything is possible in this life, no matter your age. You're able to grow stronger and develop the lifestyle that you want, despite whatever happened in the past. Realize that the past is not real. Yeah, you might be unhappy now, but 5 to 10 years later, you'll be significantly happy, and shows that it's not all over. Was it significantly harder? But everything happens for a reason. But you have to take action. You can't be passive. You can't just wait for things to get better. You have to make that change. Once again, thank you again for this suggestion. I really loved it. If you want to talk about this further, please email me at min@bedroom-talks.com. Check out my website for more information. As always, I wish you guys the absolute best. Peace out. Namaste.